Episode 30 G Audrey and an Australian climate change bill amendment stating that wood burning is not renewable. Audrey noted that this article was not about residential wood burning. It was about what kind of wood used in industry would continue to be considered renewable, or carbon neutral, and therefore not as harmful as fossil fuel burning, although wood burning produces more particulates than the solid fossil fuel coal burning. Noel noted that as Australia's Climate Change Bill 2022 progresses through the Australian Parliament, the Australian Senate Environment and Communications Legislation Committee has recommended the bill pass, but with an amendment that the inclusion of electricity generated from native forest wood waste should not be designated as renewable. The renewable classification has been controversial since the federal government of former Prime Minister Tony Abbott moved to include native forest wood waste as a source of renewable energy in 2015. Conservation groups have strongly opposed the use of leftover logging wood for power generation since, claiming it is an incentive to continue cutting down native forests. Moreover, numerous groups globally have pointed out the carbon accounting which deems wood burning net zero or carbon neutral is highly dubious since the practice has emissions which may rival coal. The Australian Senate Committee yesterday recognized this, citing the argument that burning biomass, a term used to describe any fuel derived from plants including wood and wood processing waste, as in direct opposition to the requirements of the climate change bills to reduce emissions. It was argued that the use of biomass for energy generation, particularly from native forests, was not only highly inefficient, but was also not ecologically sustainable, a source of greenhouse gas emissions, and would destroy valuable forest resources that draw down and sequester carbon. Unlike other countries, Australia hasn't historically relied on biomass for energy, and therefore has avoided some of the problems which have plagued Europe and the United States, where most wood chips are sourced. Solar and wind, as abundant as they are in Australia, remain intermittent. In 2021, Verdant Earth Technologies bought the mothballed Redbank Power Station in the New South Wales Hunter region. It plans to recommission the 151-megawatt power station, now called Verdant Power Station, to run purely on biomass sourced from local sawmill offshoot, Sweetman. That same company, Sweetman, has also entered into a $15 million deal with Singapore's CAC-H2 to construct Australia's largest wood-fed hydrogen production plant. Continuing on the hydrogen track, Patriot Hydrogen is putting biomass at the center of its production plans. Its P2H units, as they're named, are essentially modular, hydrogen-producing kits, which run on biomass, with the company boasting they can be powered up anywhere, anytime. But there is a push to amend Abbott's amendment. The Abbott recommendations don't seem to span the burning of all biomass energy, but only that from native forests. But the report does seem to acknowledge the science behind the carbon neutrality of wood burning as suspect. Janet Rice, the Greens Party spokesperson on forests, said the committee had heard evidence that destroyed the false claim that biomass from native forests should be classified as renewable energy.